completely different agendas. They do not agree on much. Republican Patrick wants tougher border security. He stands by the state's education funding cuts, and he doesn't want the federal government's billions of dollars of health care. Democrat Van Deputte wants the complete opposite. She says Patrick's border comments are, quote, toxic. She would restore education funding and accept the federal money for health care. So a lot of disagreement between these two. They go head to head tomorrow night for their only debate ahead of the November 4th election. And this is our topic this half hour. We want to hear from you. You can weigh in on our Fox 26 Facebook page or on Twitter. Be sure to use the hashtag Fox26forlife. Joining us live in our studio this morning, we have our legal analyst, Chris Tritico, our news analyst, Mustafa Tamiz, and public policy analyst, Jackie Bally. All right, where do you guys see this debate going tomorrow night?
Well, you know, this race has been really the quietest statewide race, I think, ever in Texas history. Dan Patrick won the nomination and then just basically went into hiding. Leticia Van Deputte has been all over trying to get some legs, and Patrick has not engaged her up until now. And I don't know what made him decide to do it, but it's been a very quiet race. Leticia Van Deputte has been pointing out, Jackie, and trying very desperately to point out that Dan Patrick not only voted once to cut funding, he voted a second time against the funding in the last session when they were putting $3 billion of the $5 billion back.
Desperately is definitely a good adjective because that's what she is. She is desperate. I've been seeing Dan Patrick quite a bit. He's been coming into Fort Bend. He's going to Harris County. He's been trying to rally the troops, trying to rally the conservatives, trying to remind them we do have an election and to go out and vote. What else is she going to do? She's going to attack any record that he has because he has a record. He has a good conservative record. And his comments that she said are toxic, he's been making sure that people know we have approximately 90,000, and the number varies depending on what source you're looking at, illegal children who've come here, 250 illegals who've come here, and that's a problem on our resources, period.
Now, let's talk about the immigration. For years, Dan Patrick has said they're bringing in third world diseases, they're bringing in terrorists, and now, in the last week, he's completely softened that position and said that he's going to be compassionate to the people that are coming here.
Well, Dan Patrick, one, has a very short record in the Senate. He hadn't been there very long. And the time that he's been there has been very controversial. Everything from his immigration remarks where he comes very strident. And again, he is going out there, but he's only going out there to a very narrow conservative base. So Jackie does see him in places, but the rest of the public doesn't. He's not been in any major media things. He hasn't done anything that's broad-based, and this is one of the first things that he's doing, because his positions do change very quickly when he wants to reach out to the general public, because they are so narrow.
But isn't there something to the argument that he doesn't have to?
In some ways, people aren't paying attention to the race, and he's making sure that they don't, because once they pay attention to his policies, people will vote against him. Not only, he's voted against education, he chaired the education committee. When he voted against, cutting $5 billion, 11,000 teachers, he has consistently been very narrowly focused on very conservative issues, and the general public would vote against him if they knew him better.
Now, coming back, I'm going to go to Sub. Coming back, I'm going to talk about school vouchers because that's going to be the next big thing. Sally's monitoring our social media.
And that's exactly what our tweets are about this morning. Tejano says, Dan Patrick, a champion of education. He wants the poor to embrace vouchers while leading in cutting public education money. He says Leticia Van Deputte there. John says former Senator Williams says Dan Patrick has been mischaracterized on education funding by his rival.
Well, let's talk about that for a minute. I'm going to go straight to you, Jackie. Dan Patrick has long championed vouchers, saying that that's the best way to help the school system. Those on the other side say you take money out of the school system that you already cut, and you only get a small minority of the children who can then use that voucher to go to a private school. Where's the assistance?
You're going to have to look at options like school choice because we have, again, our resources are being depleted. They're overwhelmed. The teachers are overwhelmed, and we're going to have to look at other options because when we say just poor money, where's the money coming from? We have infrastructure issues. We have a lot of other areas, key policy areas, that also need millions upon millions of dollars because of the growth that we have here. And to counter my colleague's comments, yes, people will vote for Dan Patrick, even though they know he's conservative because we're in a conservative state.
If you're taking the money, more money out of the schools, and only a small minority of these children can utilize this voucher because it won't pay the full tuition for private school. How does that help?
Well, absolutely. Education is the most important thing that we can do for the future of our state, more than anything else. Dan Patrick radically want to take money away from the public school system and put it into few charter schools. He's also the person on abortion rights. I mean, he basically wants to ban abortion, even in case of rape and incest, and even when a woman's health is in jeopardy. So his agenda is a very narrow agenda for a very narrow conservative group. And because people aren't paying attention, he's getting away with it.
But isn't that the one consistency?
I've never heard him say that if a woman's life is in danger, that he...
That is his public
But I will
position.
say this, 62%, according to the Texas Tribune, which is not a conservative publication, has said 62% of Texans, Democrats and Republicans, just Texans, do not support abortion. So we're in a conservative state.
We're going to leave it right there. We'll be back in just a little bit to talk about
Eric Holder.
There you go, Eric Holder.
Legacy, that's right, yeah. The debate is tomorrow night. This might be a one to pop the popcorn for. I don't know, right? Okay, we'll see you guys in just a little bit. Thanks.